Kara Zor-El escapes the dying planet of Krypton. She is delayed on her way to Earth. When she gets here 24 years later, she becomes Earth's newest hero, Supergirl. Welcome to the Krypton Report, a Supergirl podcast brought to you by Southgate Media. I am your host, Tyler Patrick, and you can find me at JTYPatrick on Twitter. So let's get started on what's going on today in the world of the Kryptonians. Well, welcome, fellow Kryptonian fans, to the next episode of The Last Daughter of Krypton. I got again with me in the fortress, I have my good friend, brother-in-law, comic geek extraordinaire, Mr. Chris Johnson.
Hey, everybody.
Alright, so we're going to just jump into things and get going. Get into some...
We interrupt this program to bring you this special news bulletin.
Alright, first we're going to play some catch-up. There's been a lot of activity. The first thing is, and I suck at pronouncing names, and you guys know this, but Tahir, the actor who was the villain in the desert in the first Iron Man film, has been cast as the Commander.
Okay.
We're going to be seeing him as a Supergirl villain, so looking forward to that. It said that he is to be an alien who is also a military expert. The description, he could be Kryptonian, he could be some sort of new alien, they're not sure. They haven't really released it. I think it'd be cool, and I cannot remember the planet's name that's referenced in Superman Earth 1 Volume 1. Oh. That new species that they created. I think that would be a really cool kind of storyline thread for Supergirl. But hey, I enjoyed his work and what he's done. He was in Elysium, Jag, and The West Wing. So hey, bring it on, man.
Yeah, he's a good actor. I think he plays villain well. So it'll be interesting to see him play villain again. Kind of a step down for him to go from major film to television. But then again, you and I have talked about this before, where these TV series are starting to become more like cinema events anyway.
Yeah.
So I think we could see a really nice turnaround with this.
You know, these TV shows are getting to the point where they're weekly movies.
Yeah.
And this is a high profile. Speaking of which, they finished filming the pilot. The pilot is in the can.
Oh, it's done?
Yeah. The pilot is in the can.
Nice.
Which is awesome. There's production photos you can see of Melissa kind of dressed up, and it looks really dope of her as like the geeky side. Let's see. They also have reused some of the sets on the streets of Lois and Clark for a few scenes.
Heck, yes they did.
So I'm completely okay with that, because I love with DC shows how they honor what's come before. Little nods, little hints. We definitely saw that. As Chris and I record today, we rewatched the Flash episode Tricksters, but we watched the Flash episodes from the 90s with the Trickster to catch all the references that were just amazing.
So to answer your question earlier, if he is from the planet Darren,
okay,
that'll be interesting, and that would actually be a really nice little punch in the arm for some fan base.
And just to change up to the mythology and what's been come before it. We know that the young Kara has been cast in the flashback scene. She'll be played by the little girl that played April in the new Turtles film in the flashback.
Okay. She was cute.
Yeah, she'll work. Let's see. What other news we got? We got so much to catch up on.
Do we want to talk about who got cast as Toyman?
Yes, we do. And we're going to dive into that momentarily when we really get into Toyman. And I think that's all the cool news that's come up more recently.
Yeah, I haven't honestly seen anything really other than just the costume release.
Which we haven't talked about.
I
have a special guest for the costume release, which hopefully will be the next episode. I might be able to release that episode before this one. We'll see. But I have a special guest lined up to discuss the costume.
I will just say I like the costume. That's all I'm going to say.
Cool. If you want to record your thoughts and send them to me, and I'll attach it to that episode.
Yeah.
Or maybe we can even get creative and get that. I don't know. We're just hanging out. I don't know if we'll have enough time. That's a little old school reference.
You don't have to actually cut the tape and throw me in and like a little segment.
You know what? I thought about this, like, when they did The Flash and the Flash pilot leaked, it was so good that I think it helped the series. Maybe the Supergirl pilot will leak.
Yeah, and that would actually be really awesome, and the nice thing is I do work with the company that released that preview, so that might be a possibility. I'll have to look into the possibility of you and I watching maybe Supergirl before it happens.
And if we do see it, I won't spoil anything. I promise.
I make no problem. I'm just kidding. I won't spoil it either.
But I do have something cool to share. They released like a synopsis of what the show is, and this is the synopsis, and we can kind of take in with what we can find. It says, born on the planet Krypton, Kara Zor-El escapes amid its destruction years ago. Since arriving on Earth, she's been hiding the power she shared with her famous cousin, but now at age 24, she decides to embrace her superhuman ability and become the hero she was destined to be.
So she's actually been here the entire time.
Seems like she's been here for quite a while.
All right.
Two things to take away from that is she's not a teenager.
No, she is a young woman at this point.
And they are, like we've speculated before and had heard rumors, they are addressing that she has her cousin in Superman. So
we might actually see a Superman.
I think, like I've said before, I think Superman will be shot much the way they did Batman and Catwoman and the Joker in the Birds of Prey series.
Yeah.
Where there's no lines kind of in the backdrop, just like a body double sense. So that's our news for now. We'll get back to you later. Alright, one little segment we like to do here is what I like to call villain prediction. And it's just a little time to kind of spitball. Chris, what villain can you think of that maybe you'd like to see emerge on this show? I've speculated so far before Parasite, Livewire, any villain that comes to mind that maybe you'd like to see.
I could see Parasite, just because it's such an iconic Supergirl villain. I would love to see... see, this is what makes it difficult, because there's so many. I'd like to see Darkseid hinted at.
That's on my list of long shot villains, is like a Darkseid.
I'd love to see Granny.
That's who
I could see Granny happening in this series.
You know, the idea of Granny and the Furies, that's kind of my idea. It just kind of depends on how deep they want to go. And like I was thinking, like, if this show is able to tie in with Flash and Arrow, you know, the brilliance of the way they're doing those shows, and they're allowing Oliver to cross over into things, but still keeping him grounded in the way that Flash is expounding upon things, and now adding this into it. We could eventually get to maybe where even Ray, with his tinkering, opens a portal to another dimension and allows Apocalypse in, or something like that. I mean, I think there's potential in a realistic way.
Yeah, the other thing is, I kind of wonder if we're going to see more of New 52 villains, or we're going to see more Earth 1 villains, or New Earth villains. That's see, now you threw one at me, man. Actually, you know who I would love to see, just because he's so twisted, is Gaius Marcus.
Okay, see, yes.
I would love to see Gaius Marcus thrown into this series at some point, just because, for me, watching the animated series as a kid, those episodes were so good and creepy as all get out.
Yeah, and we're going to be getting into the Supergirl episodes of the animated series here soon. And we were going to do the Supergirl Justice Unlimited episodes, and we were waiting on those, but unless I go out and buy it when I get some money, because I'm poor, people, Netflix has taken off all DC property off there. Me and Netflix are not having a good time right now.
I think that it will come back, but it's going to take a little bit of time.
They didn't even put Young Justice Season 2 on yet, and they took Young Justice off.
I know.
They took Batman Beyond. They took Justice League Unlimited, and Batman Brave and the Bold. What am I supposed to watch when I feed my newborn at 3 in the morning? What am I supposed to watch?
Last Man Standing.
No, we watch cartoons together.
We watch cartoons.
Solomon and I watch cartoons. My little Solo likes his Batman.
It's true. Well, then you've got the movies. Just throw in the old animated series.
I will.
He's ready for that.
I will.
So here is what I find interesting about this show, Tyler, is we're getting casting from people that are not big names.
No, and
at all, and I love it. I love that.
I remember when they announced Grant Gustin as Flash, I'm like, who? And I've stated I've never watched Glee.
Yeah.
I told my wife the other day, I'm tempted to find an episode that has Grant that's worth watching. So if anyone out there
he was really good on it.
Wants to pick one episode, people, and tweet me and tell me the episode, I'll watch it. Because my thing is, like I told my wife, I'm really cool with all the casting for the DC Universe films.
Yeah.
Except Flash. Like, Grant is my Flash. Like, I don't see how anyone else is going to be able to beat that.
It's going to be difficult.
And that's the only character I'm apprehensive about. The rest, I'm like, okay.
I really wish they would get over themselves and allow those universes to crash into each other. Because he does do such a good job as Barry Allen.
Yes, he does.
But the other that leads to the next question, which are we going to see in the Justice League film? Are we going to see Barry Allen or are we going to see Wally West?
Or for some stupid reason where they do Bart Allen.
No. You don't have Bart Allen without Barry.
I know you don't, but...
But you can get away with Wally, I think.
You can get away with it. It takes some tweaking.
Just a little bit.
But I do agree with you. Now, Chris, you have watched this film, and I have seen part of it, but I'd like to know your thought. Just real quick, sum up Melissa's acting in Whiplash for us.
Oh, okay. You see, that's the difficult thing, because she does do a fantastic job playing the girlfriend of a jazz drummer who doesn't get a lot of attention from him, but she's kind of a modern chick, so she's not really worried about the attention from him. But then he breaks up with her halfway through the film, spoiler alert.
What a douche.
But he does it in such a douchebag way.
You know why?
Like, he literally sits there and is like, oh, just so you know, I can never commit to you because I commit to drumming.
You know why?
Why?
Because she's Supergirl and he's the crappy new Mr. Fantastic.
I know. Which is so funny, too.
He's like...
It's so funny that happened.
He was like, I'm Mr. Fantastic and you're Supergirl, so I have to break your heart.
Yep. But I will say, she does a fantastic job playing this 20-something... sarcastic, mild-mannered person. I think it'll be interesting to see her in an action role, because it's Supergirl, at least I hope the TV show is not going to be a lot of sitting around.
You don't cast Supergirl to sit. Just like you don't cast The Rock to be Black Adam to not do anything.
I will say this, though. People are not happy already about the way the show is already starting. I just found an article on Screen Rant, which I love Screen Rant.
Yeah, it's a good place to check.
That people are already kind of poo-pooing the idea that she's been on Earth for so long. But then again, I like that DC and CBS is allowing us to just drop it into a universe and drop into a series and be comfortable with it.
You know, I like that they're going with that she's Kara Zor-El.
Yes.
She's not NZ or anything like that. She is from Krypton. They are establishing that she's Superman's cousin. I've talked about before on the episode what you and I did, where I, speculated how I wondered if she would be more of the Superman of this series, where Superman never existed. They are going with that route, that he does exist. So I'm curious to what her thing is.
There is still talk about the crossover potential for Arrow and Flash.
You know what? I'm gonna say it's gonna happen.
I'm all for it.
It won't be probably as smooth as the Flash and Arrow have done now.
No.
But I think
just because you're crossing stations at that point.
What CBS owns is part of owns CW,
they vaguely have their pinky toe in the pool of CW.
They have some sort of connection I read about. Yeah. But I think if they did an awesome 3-night event where I don't know what night Supergirl's going to air, but for speculation, let's say it's on Monday.
Well, yeah, it would be the perfect time because Arrow's Tuesday and Flash is Thursday.
Flash is Tuesday, Arrow's Wednesday.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's opposite.
We're Hulu watchers, but But no, I think the best night for would be Thursday. Because then I could spend all week in DC. I could spend my Monday in Gotham, my Tuesday in Central City, my Wednesday in Star, my Thursday in Supergirl City, and then hopefully Friday with Constantine.
Yeah, so that's the next question. Because I don't think they've said exactly where she is going to be based out of.
No.
Is it going to be Metropolis?
I don't think it is.
I don't think it is either, because if it was, we would see Superman.
There's such a speculation of them talking about not having Gotham, not having Metropolis, and really trying not to reference those places and having those as anchors. So I'm
fine with them being anchor points, but they have to be respected.
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely got heavy drops of Coast City in Arrow. We need a I feel like it should just be called the DC TV Universe.
The DCU. DCU TV.
Yeah, because stop saying Flash Arrow, because it's now going to consist of Supergirl, and it's now going to consist of whatever they name the spin-off series, which that could be on Thursday nights.
Yeah.
And that could be I mean, could you imagine a 4-night crossover between 4 shows with all these heroes?
You're saying all the things that I want to see.
I mean, this is stuff we dreamed about as children, like just having our heroes show together. I mean,
so I didn't see this earlier.
Okay.
Callista Flockhart running as Cat Grant.
Yep.
Pulling her out of her grave to give her a job.
And we will be.
I like Callista Flockhart. I would not have put her.
We're going to be talking about
in this place
with my special guest is the Cat.
Frickin' Ally McBeal.
The Cat Grant episode is my special guest because we're going to dissect the character, how she was on Smallville and how she was on Lois and Clark. Could we have more polar opposites? But hold that thought, because now we're going to jump into today's meat and potatoes. It's all right, kids, adults, anyone who listens to what we have to say. We're talking Toyman.
Frickin' love Toyman.
And we're talking
so much.
Not only are we talking Toyman, we're talking Winslow shot Toyman.
Yes, not the weird Japanese hero.
Yeah, the character I can never really wrap my head around. But Jeremy Jordan will play Winslow Shot, a tech genius and superstar IT whiz kid who works alongside Kara at Cat Grant's company, Catco.
Yeah.
He also happens to be Supergirl / Kara's neighbor, and he pines for her, even though she is unaware of his interest. So is this the male Felicity? Like the dark Felicity?
But here's the thing. This is what I was talking about earlier. They're casting people that are not known for a lot of things. Now, I will say Jeremy has a little bit behind him because he was on Smash, which was a bigger NBC show, especially for Broadway nerds. He is a Broadway actor.
Can we throw this out here real fast?
Yeah.
That he was on Broadway, so that means he did some singing.
Yep. A lot of singing.
Glee had Grant and Melissa who did singing.
Yep.
And then, of course, Jesse L. Martin.
Yep.
So we've kind of been patting our DC universe with some singers.
He also was in the film Joyful Noise with Queen Latifah.
That's where I saw it. And before you say anything, I watched it because my wife wanted to.
And Dolly Parton.
And my wife, pretty much, if she asks to watch a movie, I oblige because she'll watch any comic book related thing that I bring up. So
that's right. Well, you know what? We have to. That's our rule.
If you have a woman in your life or a man, do some things to appease them.
He also was in The Last 5 Years, which was just released this year with what's her name from the acapella musical.
Oh, was it which character from Pitch Perfect?
Yeah, Pitch Perfect.
The dark hair?
The lead girl.
Oh, Anna Kendrick?
Yes, Anna Kendrick. He played Jamie. Jamie's the lead role in that musical, and it was turned into a film. So he has acting chops. I've seen him in a few things. I've never seen him play evil.
Which is maybe, like I said, maybe he doesn't start evil.
I hope he doesn't. I want to see why he turns the way he does.
I just know that I want to see him playing with some toys. Like he's one of those, he has an extensive collection.
I want her to walk by his desk and there be wind-up toys all over his desk.
Yes. And like at home he has like an extensive collection of toys and things like that, and it's just like been a hobby.
So I want to throw this out here real quickly. This is from Wikipedia. Just for those of you who don't know Toyman, because not everybody does. Toyman is the name of 3 comic book supervillains. One of them was an adolescent superhero in the DC comic universe.
And we're not really going to touch on him.
Yeah, we're not really worried about that. That was Winslow Scott. Basically, Toyman uses toy-based or toy-themed devices and gimmicks in his various crimes. Toyman's weapons, while sometimes comical, are very dangerous. Toyman's creations include devices such as, and I love this, life-size wind-up tanks, acid-spraying water pistols, and toy soldiers that carry real guns. Here's the thing. I love the fact that Supergirl has, to me, always been a light-hearted version of the universe, but Toyman brings in these Joker-esque elements. So I think we're going to see that nice combination in this show.
And I agree. Like, we'll touch a little bit more on this.
When does this episode freaking come out? When does this freaking series start?
I'm going to guess September. Based on what CBS usually does is September. You know, CW usually starts in October. But there is a story. We're going to talk about this more next week You know what we're talking about now. Forget it. In the Supergirl series that was written by Sterling Gates, while in Arkham Asylum, Toyman is visited by Cat Grant, whose son Adam was murdered. Cat interrogates him about children who have been kidnapped with dolls left behind. Toyman claims he is innocent and the robotic dolls attack him. Supergirl saves him and gets him to medical care. When Cat returns home, she's confronted by a villain named Dollmaker, the version 2 of the Dollmaker. He stated he said he is Anton Schott, who is Winslow's son. Dollmaker eventually reveals himself to be a abandoned son of Winslow who has been kidnapping children and experimenting in order to turn them into slaves. He tells Kat he wants her to become his new mother, and that he wishes to serve as a replacement for her murdered son. But Kat rejects him. With her gag removed, Kat is able to call Supergirl for help, and the two are able to defeat Dollmaker and free the children he's enslaved. So this is a little hint of just that there is a connection between Winslow Schott, Toyman, Kat, and Supergirl.
Yeah, they all are intertwined previous to the series starting. So there is potential for there to be some really interesting dynamics here.
And to take a quick step back, Toyman actually appeared in Action Comics 64 in 1943. So he's been around for a while.
But I will say, I don't think Toyman was ever that popularized until the animated series.
Exactly. And the animated series never really says, it's kind of alluded to that it might be Anton as the Toyman. Because he wears a really creepy doll mask where he smiles the whole time.
See, that's the other thing that I'm having a hard time with, because the toy men that I am used to are either men in suits who have these adolescent toys that they've turned into weapons, or is actually a controlled robotic toy himself. And I kind of hope that's what happens with this character, especially if he works in that technical side of that job. Because I think the balance between her not knowing who Toyman actually is and him working in a secluded environment between the two of them could really turn things up.
I mean, they said it's Winslow Schott. I mean, it could be kind of like the fact that we have Caitlin Snow helping the Flash, who is yet to be Killer Frost. You know? So, now...
So many things.
The character never appeared in The Adventures of Superman, but Winslow Schott appeared in Lois and Clark's Christmas episode, Season's Greetings. He's very... Let's see.
He was in Smallville, too.
And that's where we're getting to next. The biggest one was he was played by Chris, I can't pronounce his last name, in Smallville. He appeared 3 times in Smallville. In the 14th episode of the show's 8th season titled Requiem, a toy maker and former Queen Industries employee who has a grudge against Oliver Queen. He is a scientific inventor at Star Labs who was hired by Oliver Queen to work for Queen Industries. In the episode, Clark Kent refers to him as a toy man, but most of the time he is referred to as Toy Maker, and also referred to as Toy Boy. In the season 9 episode Echo, he is referred to as the Toy Man by himself, by Chloe and Clark, and then he is seen in an episode that alludes to a Legion of Doom style sitting at a table.
Let's go back to, you just said Toy Boy. First off, it's funny, but anyway. Toy Boy is a creepy android. He is an android. But I like I said, I would find it really interesting if they did android over a human man, actually going out there in a costume doing all these things. You just mentioned Legion of Doom and the Injustice League, so that's where we get more into the Hiro Okamura version.
Yeah.
Which was more New Earth. I enjoy Hero, but
I don't like that they make him Toyman.
Yeah, it didn't make sense.
Because they've just given him a different name, because when you're convoluting heroes and villains, and you're trying to wait, I thought the Toyman was a bad guy.
Yeah.
Now one thing we didn't bring up is a little bit about his origin, and one of the Action Comics number 865, written by probably one of the greatest comic book writers of all time, Mr. Jeff Johns.
Oh, yeah.
Winslow tells Jimmy Olsen that he was a toy maker who lived with his wife, Mary, when a businessman offered to buy his shop to expand the number of children his toys can reach. He refuses, and when Mary is killed in a car accident a few weeks later, Schott agrees to the purchase. However, the businessman lied, gave his technology advanced toy plans to arms manufacturers, Schott proceeds to bomb the businesses with explosive teddy bears. And then the big twist at the end is that it reveals that Mary was just one of his first robotic creations.
Yeah.
So that's a little creepy.
Yeah, and again, I think that's where it could play into the...
Stepford Wives?
Yeah, or the kind of loner guy who works at Catco, who has a girlfriend, has a wife that nobody really sees or talks to or talks about, and I think all of that could actually really play into the series.
You know, I'm cool with it. Like, they don't have to rush it.
This is what bothers me, okay? They had, in the original screenplay for Batman vs. Superman, the one that was leaked, Toyman actually makes an appearance in the film. So they're giving Toyman more to do in the universe, which I am a huge fan of, because he is so different and so odd. But I think I need to see how this plays out, Tyler. I need to see how they're going to execute this, because I'm afraid that it could be silly. And I think the DC universe on television has found a way to make itself so serious, even with kind of witty and sarcastic characters, that they're not ready to make a silly show.
No, not at all.
So I hope that it's a serious Toyman that we're talking about.
It's so easy to make a serious Toyman, because, I mean, if he's an inventor, like they said, it's very easy to make, it's easy to segue from his things if he's a toy enthusiast to him start using toys. Kind of like the episode of Beware the Gray Ghost?
Yeah.
Where you have the guy who's makes the speech about, you know what else a toy can do? It can carry a bomb. And he starts the whole speech, all the power of the toy.
I will say, I was surprised that they are going with with the Toyman that they are, and they're not going with, Jack Nimble. Although Jack Nimble was never really, not what I would say is exactly Toyman, but Jack Nimble has that Jester's outfit, he has that weird sensibility, he uses the toys as weapons, I thought maybe when we had talked about the rumors of Toyman happening, that's where they were going to go, because that makes him an actual character, an actual person in a costume running around the streets of wherever they are. But again, I'm down for this. I am all for it.
I mean, it could be a long time before we actually see Toyman come to life. So
yeah, I'm not even sure that Winslow Scott is going to turn into Toyman until the end of the series, the first series.
Just like we're not sure if Caitlin will ever be Killer Frost. I mean, it's...
Yeah, just because we know that happens in the universe doesn't mean it's going to happen, per se, in this universe,
So... But alright, man, I think we got a...
So, we've got a Broadway singing Toyman, we've got Ally McBeal, we've got a former drummer's girlfriend, and we have something to look forward to hopefully in September.
Oh yeah, we do.
By the way, I know this is the podcast all about the Supergirl TV show. We are gonna watch Peter O'Toole in the movie, aren't we?
Oh yeah, you and I are going to be... That
is the best worst superhero movie ever.
That is on the agenda for us.
I have the VHS. That's how bad it is. I can't even find a DVD. I just have the VHS.
I got it from the library, and it was scratched.
Oh man!
I found it to buy at buybacks, and they wanted $25.
Yeah, because you can't find it
for it, and it's on Amazon. And I'm just at that point where I'm like, oh my gosh.
Peter O'Toole. Oh my.
But we're gonna review the film as probably a commentary episode. And I'd like to do that as the last episode before the show launches.
So that's something to look forward to. I'm excited, man.
And just for everyone else who's wondering, because this is the last daughter of Krypton, because we touch on using that, because we're touching on Supergirl and the TV show Krypton, there's no news. There's been nothing except the proposed idea. And that's it. There's also, if we haven't talked about this, which I think I did, but I'm going to refresh my memory.
Sure.
Google it. There is a really cool Man of Steel tie-in prequel comic all about Kara.
Yeah.
And how it was actually Supergirl Kara that was the open pod. And it's very thought-provoking. And how they want to bring Kara out as Supergirl, but do it in a different style. So
I'm all for it, man. Bring me my DC universe.
Yes. And so that is the end of this episode. Please, if you have suggestions for episodes of Glee for Grant and Melissa, send me a tweet.
I will find you an episode.
And, if you're reading Supergirl, I feel sorry for you like me, because they just ended the run in issue 40.
Yep.
You can hear that review on the World's Finest podcast on the Southgate Media Network, as well as...
She's going to lose her powers, man.
I don't know. I don't even know what Convergence is going to bring.
Oh, God.
And you can find me at JTYPatrick, and you can find Chris on Twitter at...
Not Tiny Dancer 86.
And good night, everybody.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to the Krypton Report, the Supergirl podcast. Hit us up on Twitter at Krypton Report. Leave us a review on iTunes and let you know what you think, how the show can be better, your thoughts on Supergirl, and anything else you feel like chatting about. And I'll catch you next week.